all was made in Montana, where we got it all. The Great Divide, the Chinese Wall. Livestock's so pretty, a stockman just drools. When I left there, I was such a young fool in the shadows of a hell of a man. In the shadows of some hell of a hands, they're in the shadows.
Tonight on 11th and Grant, Wade Montgomery. His music is permeated with honesty and candidly speaks to the American experience.
They got a weakness for heart, bucking horses. Pretty girl, my little Martin guitar, white cheap cars and cowboy bars. Yeah!
With a directness that only comes from a songwriter who has lived firsthand everything about which he sings.
Next horse's buck when it came time to swap. The hot afternoon sun had red about to drop. Buck was sure-footed and quick on his feet. He went chasing the stallion in the Montana heat. That stud ain't missing a beat.
11th and Grant was made possible by the Gilhousen Family Foundation, the Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans. Jack and Donna Ostrovsky. Montana State University, Office of the President. Bob and Karen Utzinger. Music Villa, proudly offering Gibson acoustic guitars. Dennis and Barbara Prager. Esther Nelson. Tony and Martha Beal. Gary and Sue Andrews, Jazz Montana, and by these funders.
True story. My son and I wrote this song, Tucker. It's about a wild horse. I grew up with stories about the ghost of Boot Hill, Teddy Blue Abbott, Scatless Bill. The boys are gone now, them holes have been filled by bodies of cowboys who left no will. Some were sadder than hell. You only hear them stories when you're out on the range with the real old boys on the real old place. Not rodeo riders or farmers of land, not a singer in some barroom or an ag businessman. Just the campfire tells. The story back when I was a kid about a crafty wild stallion and he stole mares and hid. They couldn't kill him cause he stayed out of range. A saber-toothed rocket with a human brain. Yes, he was king of the plains. Tex Adams watched him for many a year, followed his footsteps and learned what he feared. Staked out 4 geldings as fast as he had, 20-mile stretches across 100 miles of land, gumbo and hard tan. Early next morning he spotted his prey. He built to the stallion on his horse named Bay. They jumped 2 fences as they tore across the plains, hazing that stallion towards the next horse exchange. Give Bay the reins. Got off the bay, lathered and sore, saddled up red and went a-running some more. Hazing that stallion across badlands and sage with the stallion and Tex caught in a rage. Oh, time to swap. The hot afternoon sun had red about to drop. Buck was sure-footed and quick on his feet. He went chasing the stallion in the Montana heat. That stud ain't missing a beat. The last horse was Blackie with the sun getting low. The western horizon beginning to glow. The stallion, he stumbled and fell with his pride. Got up and running, damn how he tried. Till he fell and died. I've talked about horses, but I ain't mentioned Tex or the blood on his shafts from the blisters that bled. 100 miles running and taking his toll. That old stud was his hero, his heart and his soul. Till now he didn't know. Tex looked down on the ground where he died. A defiant look was still a glare in his eye. Stallion stumbled and fell in the sage. It all represented the end of an age. The end of an age. Stories about the ghost of Boot Hill, Teddy Blue Ivy, Scandalous Bill. The boys are gone now, them holes have been filled by bodies of cowboys who left no wills. And some are sadder than hell. Some are sadder than hell. Some are sadder than hell. Astrology in the paper, she learned how to read him. Went to town to the grocery, learned how to feed him. There in that bedroom, she knew how to please him. She gave him 3 children. He said, God, how he needs them. There's this cowboy keeps calling down there on the planet, calling to tell you he still loves you, damn it. The men all adored her, she was so pretty. Women just loved her, she was charming and witty. She was his answer, his own private dancer, but they had no cure for that kind of cancer. This cowboy keeps calling down there on the planet, calling to tell you he still loves you, damn it. He says, as for your children, doing so well. As for that husband, he's still raising hell. Got him playing his music down there in the cities. The girls kind of like him. They think he's charming and witty. The men, they don't mind him. Don't ask for pity, just playing that music down in the cities. This cowboy keeps calling down there on the planet, calling to tell you he still loves you, damn it. Astrology in the paper, she learned how to read it. Went to town to the grocery, learned how to feed him. There in that bedroom, she knew how to please him. She gave him 3 children. He said God how he needs them. There's a cowboy keeps calling down there on the planet, calling to tell you he still loves you, damn it. This cowboy keeps calling down there on the planet, calling to tell you he still loves you, damn it. This cowboy keeps calling.
Right out of the gate, you realize that you are a songwriter and a performer who always has a lot of truth, you know, so I wondered if you'd be willing to talk about your history and how all this stuff unfolded and what keeps you going and what's part of that process for you, Wade.
Yeah, just kind of tragic. I lost my wife to cancer in 1990, and I cowboyed and carpentered, put her through school, and when she died, one of the last things she asked me to do was to go play, and that's one about my focus and what I've been doing ever since.
And there's always a story behind every song, and they're interesting to me.
Oh, I don't have any formula. I don't know when one's going to come. I don't know what they're going to be about, and I've had offers to be a writer, a formula writer, and it just isn't. I got to live it. I can't hear about it and write. I think that some of my best songs were before I knew how to write a song, you know, and that they were straight from the heart. And I lost my son to a car wreck in 2001, and he was my partner, and we wrote a lot of things together. And another one is Brand New Morning that Ern plays the flute on it, and we wrote it one spring morning during calving, and I miss having my writing partner, but.
I woke, it's a brand new morning. Spring must be here, I hear meadowlarks courting. Baby calves on the ground, the weather's a warming. We've given God made this kind of morning. Good giving God made this kind of morning. This renewal of life, it's a country boy's treasure. Green grass through the snow brings an untold pleasure. Horse colt on his mama, just for good measure. Giving God made this kind of pleasure. A good giving God made this kind of pleasure. See, I woke, it's a brand new morning. Spring must be here, I hear meadowlarks courting. Baby calves on the ground, the weather's a warming. Good giving God made this kind of morning. Good giving God made this kind of morning. Shadows of a hell of a man. There's a shadow of a hell of a set of hands. He raises cattle on so wild oats. He likes to graze. I'm a showboat in the shadows. In Arizona they got a thing. They call it the Muggy on Rim. 5,000 feet of sheer rock wall, casting shadows across all of us all. Shadows on a hell of a line. Shadow on some hell of a hand. In the shadows. See, I was made in Montana where we got it all. The Great Divide, the Chinese Wall. Livestock so pretty, a stockman just drooled. When I left there, I was such a young fool. In the shadows of a hell of a man, in the shadows of some hell of a hands. They're in the shadows. Me and my dad, we have got us a deal. He likes it real, I like feel. I like a guitar and he feeds some wild oats. He likes the sunrise, me, I love these notes. Raises cattle and I sow wild oats. He likes to graze, I'm a showboat. I like a guitar and he feeds some wild oats. He likes the sunrise and me, I like notes. window is a highway, and the mirror is my past. My hand holds a bottle, I swore to make it last. Yes, I'm bound for Billings, Denver's 2 hours past. I can see the lights of Cheyenne, the mold don't fit the cast. Well, I guess things could be finer. Should've got all I need. The ladies when I crave 'em, only one mouth to feed. Yes, I'm bound for Billings, Denver's 12 hours past. See the lights of Cheyenne, so we're by the front door crash. This song, it ain't no lesson, words ain't no prize. Voice sound like Jack Whiskey, I feel the highway glide. Yes, I'm bound for Billings with a passenger and she smashed. 6 hours out of Denver, so we're by the front door crash. Big sky mornings and big sky nights, big sky horses and big sky fights. Why, at last, oh, at last.
It isn't so much about a musical performance. It's about an emotional framing of something. And nobody is going over the top in terms of everybody that's up there can really play well, but everything is so understated as to not spoil the... You know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, I do. And I think what I'm trying to do, and I believe what the other players are trying to do, is support Wade in getting his message across. There's nobody out there going, well, listen to me and listen to what I can do. It's more of a cohesive thing, because we all have so much respect for Wade and his travels and his travails that we just want, man, I just want to support him. I just want to play what fits with what he's doing and what the other guys are doing.
It's really interesting. What, as you've played with him, have you found that to be, when he gets up on the stage, I guess my experience, I don't ever see him as an entertainer. I just see this man get up and be him.
Yeah. There's no shame. And what I mean by that is Wade just tells it like it is. Whether it's a positive or a negative, it's what he's lived through, and there's no shame.
From the bass player standpoint, Wade's tunes particularly complex, or I mean, what's your process when you get into a new tune?
No, but they're not particularly complex. Wade doesn't construct tunes like a Tin Pan Alley guy would, and put two verses in a bridge and things like that. Wade comes up with something out of his heart and puts it to the music. And the challenge for me is to actually try and put the same amount of heart into the bass part, even though I probably am not playing too many notes or anything like that. I really try not to overthink his stuff and just let his emotion guide where the song goes. I mean, I heard you talking with Wade about the perception of the songs and what they're about, and I mean, I carry my own perception of I mean, that means something to me. That's different than what Wade necessarily means. It's his genius, I think, as he's able to do that with such difficult emotions and senses of loss, but also dreaming and your heart rising up. And so I'm aware that what I hear in his songs are not necessarily exactly what he's trying to put in there, but that's the thing. I just open myself to what he's doing.
Writing, you can't write just for you. You have to write for everybody, and it's always something I think about when I write. And also to have more than one meaning, to have several different meanings, so it can be taken in different ways.
Yeah, I love answering the question when they say, "Is that song about this?" And I say, "Could be." They say, "Well, what is it for you?" And I say, "Whatever you want it to be," because it wrecks it for them if you tell them what it's really. And they go, "Oh, I thought it was about this." Well, of course it's about that.
When I was playing in Hollywood, one of Paramount's, he was a senior executive in charge of human resources for Paramount, and him and his wife were coming to my gigs, and they were interested in doing that End of an Age song, the one about the wild horse, for a movie. And I remember him talking at a table after I got a song called Calling that's about my wife, and he was telling me about what all it meant, and I said, "Boy, I must be a genius son of a bitch to think of all of that." You don't know how people are how they're gonna take it. It might mean so much more than you ever dreamed it would. It's interesting
Thank God I know this old cowboy. He keeps my vision true. And he showed me the rustler's moon. He showed me the harvest one too. And I know we've had some hard times. We've had us good ones too. And no matter what's said or what gossip gets spread, my life is for you. Little Crystal, you wanted a love song. Your daddy had made this for you. It's short and it's sweet with pentameter beats to explain just how much I love you. And I know I brought on some hard times my hard drinking will do. But no matter what's said or what gossip gets spread, my life is for you. I know your grandmother's eyes can be scornful. Your grandfather's words can be cruel. Right here I'll start and tell you them old farts don't know just how much I love you. I crushed when you lost your mother. I lost my lover too. And no matter what's said or what gossip gets spread, my life is for you. I thank God I know this old cowboy. He keeps my vision true. And he showed me the rustler's moon. He showed me the harvest one too. I thank God I know some young cowboys. They see this world like I do. From a saddle of horseback to the seat of a fastback under the light of the moon. From a saddle of horseback or a bar stool in a beer shack under the harvest moon. shack under the rustler's moon. Under the light of the moon. Under the harvest moon. Under the rustler's moon. I've been playing homemade music out in Santa Cruz. Been with the stars under the muse. I still got my heart, I got my guitar in tune. No one needs to know I'm even missing you. It shows in my eyes, it's all over these tunes. I still got my heart, I got my guitars too. Anybody tell you I come passing through in my old Indian car, looking for you? Got it afraid for my heart, afraid for my guitars too. I've been out in Arizona with my native friends, under the sun, in the four winds. I still got my heart, well, I got my guitars too. The other night we saw this comet over Route 66 in my war pony car. Stopped and gave us a fix. Said hello to my heart, hello to my guitars too. I've been playing handmade music down in Baton Rouge. Been with the stars under the muse. I still got my heart, well, I got my guitar in tune. No one needs to know I'm even missing you. Just take a look at these hands, it's all over these jams. I still got my heart, well, I got my guitars too. I still got my heart, I got my guitars too. I still got my heart, baby, I got my guitars too. Yeah.
What's your experience when you're working with Wade, and is there a situational, immediate, how am I today on the stand playing this tune, and this is this tune, and what do I bring to it?
Actually, no. It just once I know what tune he's playing, it just kicks in automatically. It's like some of the songs that he has just lend themselves to flute naturally. I guess the songs with more of an Irish lilt to them, and that's the association that I have in my mind when I hear that type of music. I'll either hear a guitar part or a steel part or a flute part, and it just comes to me. Quite often when I'm playing with a country band, people look at me and go, "You don't look like you belong in that band." But it's funny because then when they hear me play, I incorporate a lot of steel guitar and noise gate effects. Where you like they use a volume pedal with the steel guitar a lot.
Right.
And so I try and emulate that by using the whammy bar and a noise gate, so you get the tremolo with the noise gate, but you can bend the notes up like you would with a steel, sliding it up.
Ernie played this really cool, kind of like pedal steel guitar on acid. Yeah, it was just this great ambient atmosphere that he created, and I just kind of did what he didn't do,
Is there any song that always stands out for you, like Here It Comes?
End of an Age really kind of stands out for me. I recorded with Wade on that project back in the early 90s, and I thought it was a great song then, and I still think it is. It's just such a great story, and it's such a study in human nature about having to dominate this animal until you dominate it to death. It's kind of like the old man in the sea on the prairie.
Well said. In some way, the delivery system is kind of basic and simple.
Yeah, the basic vehicle is pretty simple, but it's so heartfelt that it opens up all those emotions that we all have inside of us. I have to be careful what I say about Wade because I'm concerned it'll sound trite because he's such a genuine character. It's kind of hard to describe. I think that's a Zen saying that the best things can't be talked about. I mean, we're going to try, but it's I guess they call it the sublime. What do you say?
Yeah.
You try, but.
Lipstick and whiskey on an old Mason's jar. Eyes getting misty, such a sight at the bar. Both of them wondering, how could they take it this far? The lipstick and whiskey on their lips at a bar. The smell of the perfume, the smile of a good time, unfaithful eyes, eyeball in a neckline, rings on your fingers, keep telling them this is a crime. Still they're sitting sneaky thinking about a way crossing the line. They're up on the high line, a little south of a real good time. Lipstick and whiskey, fog in their minds. They're up on a high wire, one side's ice, one side is fire. Lipstick and whiskey, their only desire. friend they've all known since high school. They shared the golden rule: do unto others, have them do unto you. The lipstick and whiskey got its own point of view. Up there on the high line, just south of a real good time, lipstick and whiskey, fog in their minds. Up on a high wire, one side's ice, one is fire. Lipstick and whiskey, their only desire. Sipping this fine wine from lead crystal glasses. Decent white folk who couldn't find their own asses. And suddenly I started up this wild conversation, all about the problems on the Indian reservations. A fella looked at me and said, them red bastards got her made. It's giveaway programs and government aid. I said, yes, that's why their houses got dirt floors. That must be why their people are dirt poor. Says, hold on, let's not get enough. Explain where you're from before you start talking tough. I said I growed up with the Sioux and the Northern Cheyenne, the proud Navajo, when the man down. And they taught me about pain, they taught me about hunger, they taught me them puppies could be good for supper, yes sir. He says we drove through them while they're all such a mess. Beer cans everywhere, whoa, God bless. I said yes, we replaced that Rocky Mountain spring water with that good old barley pop fire water. And them cans shine like trinkets down there in the ditches. All of that aluminum's bound to be worth riches. And it's really kinda neat the way they toss it to the side, so the wealth can be shared by the whole tribe. Now we only took their land, their pride and their children. We only took away that good buffalo living. But what chaps my butt most is when the do-gooders come, and they're gonna right all these wrongs that's been done. Gonna make up for a century of suffering with Babe Ruth candy bars and bottles of buffers. Well, I think it's time we ended this conversation all about the problems on the Indian reservations. I drank too much wine from y'all's fancy glasses. It's obvious you can't find your own asses. You best keep your eye on a reservation, boy. Well, take your wampum and run. You best keep your eye on a reservation, boy. Oh, guzzle all that Rothschilds and run. Best keep your eye on a reservation, boy. I'll leave fire and otter and run.
So you grew up on sort of reservation land?
My father worked for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and He ended up retiring as a federal marshal in charge of the Navajo-Hopi disputed area. And we lived in South Dakota and Montana, and Arizona is where I went to high school. And always in the summers, I'd come work the ranches from the time I was, I don't know, 5, before I went into school. But I always, especially coming out of Arizona, to get back home to Montana just felt so good.
How are they using you on the ranch? What kind of job are you doing?
Our main, like I and my cousin, our main job when I was a little kid was spreading the bulls around, because they'll get with one cow to all the bull herd, and they won't get with the rest of them. So that was our main job. Mainly we went swimming in the reservoirs. Kirk and I, we always liked to ride and spread the bulls, because we'd always been preached to about don't run this horse, don't. But when we got out of sight of the folks, we could open them up and really run. And, oh, it was good.
When did you start riding horses?
I got my first one at 3. At 3.
Really, 3 years old? Was it a pony or what?
No, it was a quarter horse.
Crying out loud.
I've still got one. My whole background is ranching. The gal I married, my family I'm from, all Montana ranches.
This is a cowboy song. Live the life of a hired hand. Live the life of a working man. Live the life of a gypsy too. Live the life of a drunken fool. I got this weakness for old sway-backed horses, pretty girls and fine guitars, fancy cars and dirty bars. These hands, they build mansions, they build cow stanchions, they rode them a mighty few. I've laid them on a bale or two. They got a weakness for kids, loving horses, pretty girls and fine guitars, fancy cars and dirty bars. These hands ride the rough stock, punch post holes through hard rock. Babe, they'd never be cruel to you. Certain things that they just won't do. They got a weakness for hard bucking horses, pretty girls and fine guitars, fancy cars and dirty bars. These hands go on the sale block, they'll peel coyotes and tie pack knots, pick a little guitar too, and that ain't all they do. They got a weakness for fast running horses, pretty girls and fine guitars, fancy cars and dirty bars. It's a long way from over. I've seen this field of 4-leaf clover. Money's always come hard for me, but that won't always be. It's this weakness for old sway-backed horses, pretty girls, fine guitars, fancy cars and dirty bars. Pretty girls, a little old Martin guitar, and It's my mama's favorite song. My oldest love is an old-time story about life, love, and family, and honor and glory. My oldest love is this old-time story. My heart's buried in a part of central Montana, and there's a smell of blue sage still on my bandana. And my kinfolk raise cattle and the finest quarter horses. And there's a feeling of family, and there ain't no divorces. My oldest love is this old-time story. Great-great-granddad's from Texas and a Lakota, South Dakota. And they came from Missouri, and they came from Arizona to graze cattle and raise them fine horses. Through some stroke of fate, this family joined forces, honest with honor. So goes the story. Some pretty good cowboys died for Old Glory. And some pretty good cowboys give their lives for Old Glory. And I'm on the road, and I'm bearing my soul. I'm chasing this dream with a runaway theme. And my children are for me. From her grave now she supports me to go play this music till this whole world adores it, and sing it with honor, go for the glory. See, my brand new love is a brand new story. My brand new love is a brand new story. My brand new love is a brand new story. Shadows of a hell of a man is a shadow of a hell of a set of hands. He raises cattle on so wild oats. He likes to graze. I'm a showboat in the shadows.
11th and Grand was made possible by the Gilhousen Family Foundation. The Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans. Jack and Donna Ostrovsky. Montana State University, Office of the President. Bob and Karen Utzinger. Music Villa, proudly offering Gibson acoustic guitars. Dennis and Barbara Prager. Esther Nelson. Tony and Martha Beal. Gary and Sue Andrews, Jazz Montana, and by these funders.